Hello, everybody, and welcome to our very first Light Up Charlotte podcast. I am extremely excited because today we have a very special guest, and she's actually one of this year Light Up Charlotte winners, and it is Serena Armstrong. And we're going to be talking about skin and not the usual skin and facial chat, but we're going to talk more about trends, what it's really good for you and what you need to stop using. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere.
Welcome to Light Up Charlotte, a space for stories that matter, businesses that inspire, and a community that shines together.
Okay, girl, welcome.
Hello.
We have Serena here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
How are you feeling after our Light Up Charlotte event?
I'm doing really well. I feel like things, like I had said, like when we were talking before this, was like they're taking off slightly and it's a steady build with everything. So I'm really happy to get my business name out there and really be able to talk to people about their skin and educate them on it.
I love that. Okay, so I know a lot of people that are going to be watching this podcast haven't really know you in a deeper level and why, some people don't even know what is Light Up Charlotte or why I chose you to be a part of it. So I want to just explain a little bit of that. And basically, you were a winner because of your life story, because of your journey. And I want people to get to know a little bit more of that journey because I really love why you got into skincare in the first place, because to me, that's really special. And that says a lot more when I'm choosing the person that is going to take care of me. And I want you to share that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I ended up dealing with acne when I was about 13, 14. So very severe cystic acne. And a lot of times whenever it's being taken care of, like my parents took me to a dermatologist and it was more along the lines of, all right, acne equals medication. And that's pretty much it. Not really looking into the reason as to why it's happening and just even figuring out like if it was something that was good for me. It's just kind of like cause and effect and this is all that it is. So I was on medication for about like a little over a year, and my dad is a dentist and has just experience in like the medical field, and was more like, okay, these medications are kind of affecting like these particular hormones. This isn't really great for you long term. So maybe we can look into different options for things. So during that time frame, I think it was about like a year and a half, like past when I first started going to a dermatologist, and my mother's esthetician asked her to bring me in to see if she could do anything for my skin. So started going to her, and I just remember her really breaking down as to why my skin was doing what it was doing, as to why like these certain hormones were happening and why I was having this particular effect with my skin and what we could do about it, and really walked me through different products that we could end up using, different ingredients, what they were doing to my skin, why it was happening. And I think it was really important that someone actually took the time to talk to me about what was going on instead of just like, here you go, that's it. So I ended up working with this esthetician probably for about like 4 years or so, just really getting my skin to a certain point, like where it needed to be, and just having that education and understanding of certain products really kind of catapulted me into learning about skin and getting into that side of my career.
I love that. And most importantly, I don't know if you remember, and I'm looking at you right now and your skin is beautiful. Like I told you, I will have never guessed in my entire life that you had any type of acne or suffer from anything on your skin, because you're really glowing. And I love skincare.
Yeah.
And I know when I went to your place to get my facial, I really love that you took the time to really get to know my routine and what I was using. And I can really see the difference of the things that we talk about. But I want to ask you how important it is, or how do you feel about people when we are buying a product, especially women, there is something on TikTok, there is something here that this influencer is posting, and look at my skin, it's glowing, it's beautiful, and I want to buy it. And all of a sudden, I go to my like bathroom and I have like 10,000 products. And then I'm like, I have to use this cream, then I have to use this serum, then I have to use this overlay cream. And all of a sudden, I just feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I just liked when I went to your place that you made it sound really easy. You know, this is exact. I mean, you need to use these and these and these. You can use more, but you made it, to me, sound like I don't have to be using a ton of things to make my skin look great.
Yeah, I really think it depends on the person and what you are wanting to do, what you're not wanting to do. So I have clients that come in who are like, okay, having 6 products or even anything over that is very overwhelming. And then there are people like me to where I have like a 7-8 product routine, which is, again, completely depends on the schedule, what you're willing to do, what you're wanting to get into. So I always tell people just to start off with the basics. Like if you are not using a sunscreen, a vitamin C, or even a retinoid, like those are really important things within your routine. But again, it does depend on the skin type. If you are more sensitive or if you're more oily, whatever it may be, like those are the basics, but you can still kind of adjust with those. So I personally think when it comes to a lot of the trending things on TikTok, I get a lot of clients that come in and are like, oh, I saw this. I wanted to use this. I saw that the person's skin looked like this. And I think the biggest thing to remember is that those are influencers, and nothing against anyone who's like job that is whatsoever, but those are influencers. And a lot of times they're just getting paid for that product and not necessarily knowing that what your skin is like. They've never touched your skin. They've never even seen it. And if it's like, buy this product, this is what it's done, but you haven't had that actual like personal physical interaction with the skin, they also don't know if you're allergic to something. Certain ingredients are under different names if it's within like the actual scientific terms. So I've had people who are like, oh, I'm allergic to pineapple, but they don't realize that the like scientific term for pineapple or that enzyme is called bromelain. And then they see that bromelain is in something, but they don't know what it is. So that's why I think it's really important to make sure that you are talking to a professional when it comes to your skincare, or if you're worried about concerns, that you're at least able to compare and contrast and figure out what's working for you, what's not working for you. And I'm not saying that everything needs to be like medical grade. And I even remember telling you too that you have certain products. If you want to go ahead and go through these particular things, then great, let's go through them. And then we can slowly build as we go along. So it's not about changing everything all at one time. It's about adjusting to what you need and where you are in life within that point, and then just kind of like, going from there.
Okay, perfect. And going into that situation where people are using a lot of things, when do you know that you have to stop using something that is not really good for your face?
Yeah.
Because I know sometimes I ask people, or I go to people and they tell me something and I use it because, they told me to use these, but I'm not seeing any changes.
Got it.
And then I start feeling irritation. And then I'm like, well, maybe it's because it's working, it's doing its magic and it's supposed to be that way. So how can you tell a person that is using a certain product that they need to stop, or when to stop and go to the basics?
Got it. So personal experience over the last couple of days, I ended up having a really bad reaction to something, and my face was very inflamed and ended up getting like a contact dermatitis, which is basically you having an immune response to something within your skin. So it's kind of trying to protect it by pushing inflammation out. And that can be the allergic part of it. But then also, if you don't know if you need to stop something, there's a cycle within your skin where you can tell if it's either just like purging and your skin is getting used to something, or you are actually like sensitive to something. So a lot of times when it comes to a product, so say if it's something trending or if it's something new that you may not necessarily know, again, all the ingredients, if there's more fragrance to it or whatever it may be, that even if it is something on the allergic side, then yes, definitely back away from that, kind of backtrack to see what the new product was that you were using. So that way you at least know, like, okay, these are, say if it's 5 products that you regularly use, you added in a 6th one and you're now like, oh, I'm having these reactions to things. So what's the newest thing that you recently brought on? So that way you can kind of backtrack from it. So that's more, again, on the reaction side of things. But then if it's something that you've been using for a really long time, you're not necessarily having a bad reaction to it, but you're not seeing any sort of changes within the skin, then sometimes it's just like either your skin has gotten acclimated to it, like it has become used to it, or it's just something that doesn't necessarily work for you, which isn't a bad thing. It's just time to adjust. Like our skin changes, and there's products that I use. Let's see, I'm 31 now. So there's products that I used when I was 27. And now that I've gotten a little bit older, like certain cell turnover has slowed down, or certain like environments have changed for me, that I no longer need to use that particular product. So it's really about differentiating if you are having an allergic reaction to something, if you're purging through something, or if your skin has just kind of moved on from it altogether. So again, the biggest thing is just figuring out and talking to a professional too of what's working for you, what's not, and giving you different options along the way.
What is the number one product that you think people absolutely need?
Sunscreen.
100%.
And
a lot of people think they don't need the sunscreen.
Correct. So I would say, again, personal experience for me, that a lot of Black people do not think that they need sunscreen. So anyone who has melanated skin, you are under the impression that because we are not burning as easily, that we don't need that protection. And that is 100% false. So a lot of times what myself as a professional and as an esthetician, what I'm thinking of is something called the Fitzpatrick scale. So the Fitzpatrick scale is basically scale 1 through 6, where it's talking about skin tone that is very, very fair up to a very rich melanated skin tone. And it's just talking about how quickly the sun actually hits the skin and how quickly you burn. So someone who is very fair, you do need sunscreen on a daily basis because you are going to burn very easily. And then someone who has very rich skin tone, yes, the sun is still going to hit you, but it's going to go at a much slower process, and you always end up tanning, but then sometimes the burning can come a little bit later. So within that scale, it's really important to still make sure that you are wearing your sunscreen because you also want to protect against fine lines and wrinkles. This is going to help with healthy aging. And then, of course, you also want to make sure that you don't get skin cancer. So that's a really, really large one up there. But I also think, too, that sunscreen is one of the most affordable ways to get an anti-aging product, or healthy aging. I hate the term anti-aging, but healthy aging product, because it's going to protect your skin from environmental stressors. It's going to make sure that we are protecting our skin against UVA and UVB exposure, which is ultraviolet burning rays and ultraviolet aging rays. So throughout our whole entire lives, or even whenever, like with us being inside right now, like I have sunscreen on today, and you can also get sunscreen, or you can get sun damage from being behind like phone screens and like laptop screens too, because that blue light damage. So even though it's on a lower scale, you can still end up getting some of that damage. So sunscreen is the top of the top product for me that I will always recommend, even if you are on a like 3 product regimen, or if it's something that's like 6, like sunscreen always has to be in there.
There are a lot of sunscreens.
There are a lot.
You know, and I've bought through my life a lot of different kinds. There is like one that is like 30. There's like other ones that they say there's 70, 80. And sometimes I feel like which one works better than the other? Which one is the one I really need to use? And there's some other products that they say they have the sunscreen into the foundation or makeup, or so what is the real sunscreen, and how much of percentage, or I don't know how you call that, you really need to it actually works. And then something, I use sunscreen all the time, but I don't use it after like I put it on the morning and that's it.
Got it.
And I've heard so many people, you have to use it more, but I'm like, if I put on my makeup, how can I put my sunscreen on top of my makeup? So I never do. And there's a lot of other sunscreens I've heard. They're like powders and things like that. But I'm like, I like my skin to look like yours, like glowy and moist. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
And then I feel like with the powder, it's just not gonna
cakey, like matte. Okay.
Yes.
So starting off with like the different types of SPF, or like when it comes to the numbers of everything. So the lowest that you should be at, or like bare minimum, is an SPF 30. So I know that it starts like, or there's sometimes like SPF 15s, but ideally you want to be at a 30. And then I know that they go up to like 100 sometimes. So for me, I'm always between an SPF 30 and maybe about a 50. And in all honesty, between those numbers, there's maybe only about like a 0.1 to maybe a 0.5 percentage difference. So there's not a ton, but the biggest thing though is reapplication. So for me, what I carry in my studio, I carry some products from PCA and also Elta MD, which is my favorite sunscreen that I have and that I use on a daily basis. So with the PCA product, that one is SPF 30. So that one is really good for just your day to day. You know that you're not going to be out in the sun or outside a lot. And like I would use that one if I was just going to be indoors, basically. So just your standard basic good one, and something that's going to be a little bit more hydrating, but also you know that, again, you're not going to be in direct sunlight. So what I usually recommend is that if you know that you're going to be outside, if you are going to be hiking or anything like that, you want something that is going to be a little bit higher on the SPF scale or percentage scale. Even though there's like a very slight difference with it, it's still going to help with that protection. But again, the key is reapplication, because you are wanting to reapply every 2 hours just to make sure that you are getting that full protection. And whenever I do it, I go from my face, my ears, down to my décolleté. And then depending on if I'm wearing something long sleeve or not, like I have a sunscreen that I put on my arms and my tattoos because I want those to be protected also. So I think for me, it's about the protection, the fine lines and wrinkles, making sure that, again, we're doing the healthy aging. And the same thing with my tattoos also. Like these are about 10, almost 11 years old. So I want to make sure that they are looking as like the best that they can. And that's where that sun protection comes in. So you can see a big difference with a lot of those things. So I do think that starting again at a baseline of 30, that's the lowest that we should be at. But then if we want to even go up to like a 50 or 55, very small percentage difference, but still working in different ways with everything.
And how do you like the question that I ask you, if I have my makeup and I want to reapply my sunscreen, but I don't want to mess up with my makeup, like what do you recommend on those cases?
In all honesty, so I personally, and for anyone who like does do a lot of makeup, I don't do a lot of makeup. So with it, well, no, I'm not saying it like that.
Like to me, it's easy. I just reapply it on my beautiful skin.
No, it's just like, I think because when I was younger, my mom was like, if you put on makeup, it's going to clog your pores and you're going to have like more breakouts, which I appreciate her saying that. So I just never really ended up doing it. But with a lot of clients that do end up wearing makeup, the only product that I really know of that does end up like having an applicator that you can do over your makeup is usually going to be a powder form. However, it can be a little bit lighter. One of my favorite brands that are more of sunscreen makeup instead of it being makeup sunscreen is Color Science. They have absolutely amazing products. Like one of the ones that I use, it's an under eye concealer that is SPF 35, I believe. and blends right in. And then I do know that they do have the powder SPF. So you can go a little bit lighter on it. It doesn't mean that you have to go like really intense and like powdering everything up and making your skin look really matte. It can help even if you're doing a light dusting of it to help with like, think of it more like oil control.
Yeah.
Like to do a light dusting of everything. So that way you're at least still getting the reapplication that you need, but also not making your skin look very heavy at the same time.
I love that brand.
It's a
It's
brand.
really
I
good
really
brand,
enjoy the
and
brand.
it gives. I love it in the summer because it leaves your skin like so, like shiny
It
but
does. It looks
pretty.
dewy. Yeah. And they also have another product. I always tell this a lot to my acne patients or clients that I deal with. If you are still wanting to do more of the makeup side, but without it being traditional makeup and it clogging your pores, they have a product, I believe it's called IntelliShade. And it comes out like there's 4 different shades, I believe, but it comes out white. And then as you continue to blend it, it blends into your skin tone. So it's more of a heavier coverage SPF, but again, like SPF makeup. So you're at least getting, I believe it's like SPF 50 or 45, something like that, but it's a higher one. And I usually send people that way, especially if they're wanting to still help and like work with their acne,
Yeah.
but something that's still going to be protective.
I like it, and I heard you saying your mom said that it's better not to use makeup.
Yes.
And my mom said that to me as well. And I don't usually wear makeup unless I'm going to a special event. I mean, I do wear makeup, but I don't like to use foundation because I just feel like you mentioned that I just feel I'm gonna be sweating and it's just too much. I mean, this is just me. Nothing against with the people that love makeup every day. But I always tell my daughter the same thing. And she has also seen a big difference when she's using less
Yeah, absolutely.
like products for makeup, especially.
Absolutely. And I think that with product, it does depend on like where your skin is within that stage. I personally think that, especially with your daughter, I believe she's 17, and it's like within that age, your skin is still so young and developing that a lot of times it doesn't need these heavy things. But even if you are into makeup, because like my little sister, when she was that age, like she absolutely loved makeup and she was so amazing at it. So I understand that it is an art form and it's a really special thing. I do not have that talent, but it's a really special thing.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing, if anyone like even at 17 or even, you know, like as an adult, the biggest thing to do is make sure that you're double cleansing at night too, because you don't want any sort of like leftover residue or anything within your pores. So that can also lead to breakouts and just uneven like texture within the skin a lot of times, because if we're just doing one simple cleanse, like, yes, that's great. We're cleansing our face, but a lot of times we still have leftover makeup or just leftover sunscreen or whatever we did throughout the day on our face. So using an oil cleanser or a balm is really going to help make sure that it melts away anything that you have used throughout the day, and kind of think of it like sweeping before mopping. You want to make sure that you are getting up all of that debris and then going through with the main cleanse to prep for everything else. So by doing an oil cleanse, that is going to get rid of your whole entire day. Like the world is really gross outside, so you want to make sure that you're melting everything off. And then after you wipe that off, then you're able to go in with your water-based cleanser to again melt away and get rid of any sort of residue that was left over from that oil cleanser, and that's helping to prep your skin for all of your products before you do your night routine. So I think that's another big thing, especially when it comes to makeup and or anyone who wears makeup or doesn't wear makeup. That's a big little tip of that.
But even if you wear makeup, I feel when someone has a really skincare routine, the makeup looks 1,000% different.
Yeah, it can.
You know?
Absolutely can. It can.
I can see the difference between someone who is using makeup and has a really good like skin like products. I don't know how to explain it, but you can see it when they apply the makeup compared to someone that doesn't have the knowledge, because I think that's a knowledge when it's with skincare. they need to come to you?
Thank you. Yeah, I think that with it, like, I never will ever tell anyone that they have like bad skin or something like that. I think that sometimes people just, they're going through different stages. And again, like you said, they may not have the education that goes along with it.
Exactly.
And that's a very common thing. So if you are into makeup, or even if you aren't, there is a happy medium between that. I have a lot of clients who are dealing with acne who are like, I want to be able to not wear makeup or have it as more of like a compliment to my skin instead of having to cover something up.
Exactly.
So I know that it's hard sometimes to be able to break away from that, because acne and makeup don't go hand in hand, and you
Yes.
want to cover up the acne, and you know, like, again, I'm never going to tell someone not to do something, but I can give the advice of like, this is where, you know, we're going to start seeing a difference with certain things. But it's all about making people feel comfortable. I think that knowing if we're able to work together on their skin or just accomplish their goals like little by little, I've been able to see a lot of people who were like so excited that they came into my studio and they're like, oh, I'm not having to wear as much makeup, or, you know, I came in today and this is the first time that I haven't put anything on my face. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So it's about being able to educate, treat with confidence, and then also give the confidence to my clients by making sure that they have everything that they need, and just listening to them too. Because like I said, I'm not going to tell you not to do something. I can give my advice on it, and like we can see how these things progress, but it's really important just to be able to listen and be able to work with everyone individually and meet them where they are on that.
Yes, and I can testify on that because I stopped using my tretinoin. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Okay, and I was able to see a difference on my inflammation over here that I was
within that
having,
area.
remember? So sometimes, you know, people tell you this is really good for you, yada, 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 but it may be causing you some type of...
Yeah, it can, there's some inflammation. So
Yes.
for like an example on this too, like I love using tretinoin. Like it's absolutely amazing for the skin. It helps with cell turnover, fine lines and wrinkles. Like there's so many amazing things that go with it. And the reason I told you to stop using it for a time frame is because where, like, when you first came in to see me, you were dealing with a lot of inflammation and a lot of dryness, and it just was making your skin very angry. So a lot of times what I end up telling people is we have the products that we need, and a lot of the products that we actually need on a daily, nightly basis. So like with tretinoin or a type of retinoid, yes, we want to be using those, but being able to take a step back sometimes and being able to be like, okay, your barrier is a bit inflamed, a little bit angry. Let's calm down on these active ingredients. Let's repair that. And then that way we can start reintroducing those things. So you're going to get better results for them instead of pushing through and then just being, you know, inflamed the whole time. So again, it's more of, these are the products that we do want to use, but everyone is different, and just being able to scale back a little bit and see that our skin needs to be healthy first before we do any sort of intense home care or even intense treatments. Like I love telling people no in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Like I think it's really important as an esthetician to be able to look at a client and be like, I know that we want to do this, and you've seen other people do this, and it's a really popular treatment or whatever it may be, but your skin isn't ready for that. And if I do this, then it's going to cause more damage, and I don't want that on my reputation. But another thing, I don't want that for you. So I've had people get upset at me and not come back and see me, and that's okay. And I would much rather tell someone no and then be upset at me than me, you know, like go through with it and then be like, oh, your skin is not going to, you know, be well after this. So barrier strength and barrier health is the most important. And then, like I said, with you, that's where we want to be. And yes, your skin looks absolutely amazing, and it looks really good. But yeah, so it's adjustments for everyone and making sure that everything is health related on that.
So you mentioned something really important that I was about to ask you, and that was one of the things that, what is one of the things that people right now are doing or a trend or something that you feel it's a really no? Why are you doing that to your face?
This may be controversial, but a lot of people are using beef tallow on their face, and I don't know why.
What is that?
It's like an oil or like a gelatin-based like beef product.
Oh,
Yeah.
a beef cream?
Kind of, I guess. I think
Okay.
it's very strange to me. It's
So
more-
is that like a moisturizer?
it's like a cooking thing. Like it's literally like I think you can just get it from the grocery store, but I think a lot of times that people are now kind of spinning it more into like this is a beef tallow based skincare. And again, me personally, is
Okay.
that it's an oil based or something that is going to be messing with your barrier quite a bit and can clog the pores tremendously. So once your pores are clogged, you're not getting that cell turnover, which leads to more breakouts. So I've had some people that have said, oh, this has really helped with any sort of like inflammation that I've had or redness. And if it's helped you, then I can't really tell you no. I can tell you no, but you're going to do what you're going to do. Like that, I can just be like, this is how I feel about it. And, you know, Godspeed. But I think that a lot of times I am wanting to make sure that there are clinical studies behind things. My biggest thing is like, if it's something that you can cook with, why are you putting it on your face? I don't understand that.
Yes.
But yeah, that is my personal opinion. I am doing everything that is more science and chemistry related. I want to make sure that it has been tested numerous times, that there are clinical studies, that there's just something behind it. And I'm able to look at percentages of like how this has helped someone or what it's done with someone. So for me, that again is my personal opinion on it, but I feel like that's been a really big, that particular thing has been a very big trend. Another one has been, I've had a lot of people recently been like, oh, I saw that I shouldn't be washing my face in the morning at all.
That was me.
Yes. And again, like with that one, there's some people who do that and that's fine. But my way of looking at it is you get up in the morning, say if you're just splashing your face with water and then progressing to doing your whole entire routine. So say if that's like maybe 3 to 4 things. And then you go throughout your day. So you're sweating, you're getting that cell turnover. Again, you're outside and you're just the skin. And then at nighttime, you're doing your cleansing, you're doing your routine. But even at nighttime, your body is sweating. You're still shedding dead skin cells. There's dust. There's so many things. So then you wake up and then you're just splashing it with water again. So think about the products that you have on from last night. And then even if you're just splashing your face with water, they're still there. You're not actually getting that deep clean. So the thing with cleansers too, it depends on your skin type. It depends on what you're using. Like if you're using something super harsh, then I understand as to why you'd be like, I don't really want to wash my face in the morning because I'm either getting a lot more oily or I'm getting very, just like inflamed from something. There's gentle cleansers. There's some that like I use a foam cleanser that has a little bit of salicylic acid in it. And salicylic acid is something that is going to help with cleaning out the pores. Depending on the percentage, this is a very low percentage, but the foam cleanser makes my skin feel really clean. And also I'm treating it to make sure that, you know, I'm not getting a lot of like oil or anything like that. Then I proceed with my morning routine. So everyone is different on that, but I do find it very important to make sure that you are starting with a fresh face. And yeah, like you start to see a difference on little things. And even if you are making that little change, again, your skincare routine has so much to do with everything.
And another thing I will say is do not drying your skin with the same towel.
Correct.
Right?
Yes, that is
because I see a lot of people do that, and I'm like, why?
For me, that's for me personally. Like, there's 2 sides to it. I like to use like the single use towels with it, but then there are other people who are just like, you know what, buy all of these washcloths and just make sure that you're using like one at a time, and that's fine too. My biggest thing is if you're using a washcloth and just like putting it back in the bathroom, think of everything that goes on in the bathroom that is going on in the towel, and then you're putting that on your face. So there are scientific studies of having like fecal matter on the towels that you're using. So you're just like, yeah, that's fine. So
Well, now you know. If you're not using one of those, how do you call it?
they're like single use towels.
Single-use
So
towels.
and again with it, like there are some people that do use washcloths, and that's fine. This is just a personal thing
Yeah,
for
me
me.
too.
And I find that especially when it comes to acne prone skin, if you are using something that is clean, it's going to make sure that you're not putting like bacteria and then just leaving it and then putting even more bacteria on something. So there's a lot of different reasons for things. And I do feel with a lot of estheticians or even with dermatologists, everyone's going to have a different opinion about something.
yeah.
That's okay. And I think that a lot of times people can end up saying that negatively. And I don't mean it to be a negative thing. I think it's different experiences.
Yeah.
It's different outlooks on things. And that's fine. As long as you can be collaborative to that, I think that's a great thing.
You're so sweet. Okay, to finish.
Yes.
Tell me what is next for Serena Armstrong.
I know,
My
there's too many, like, A's with it.
Aesthetics.
Let's see. So with me, I've had my private studio for almost 2 years now. October will be 2 years. And I've been in the industry for, before that, 8 years. So almost 10 years total, which is
Wow.
crazy. But yeah, my background is working for private dermatology practices, and I love corrective skincare. So everything pigment related, acne, scarring, it's really important to me to be able to provide a space for people who feel like they haven't been seen or been able to really get that information that is there. Because I think for me, when I was going to school here in Charlotte or for aesthetics, that it was pretty much like, let's get you through state board. Let's not really go over these particular subjects. It's just kind of like, let's move you through. So once I got into the real world of everything, I was like, oh, I know nothing. So
Yeah.
I think once starting with dermatology and then being able to see all different types of skin concerns and different skin tones and everything, like I was the only Black provider there. So I was able to see anyone and everyone. And even now in my studio, I see everyone and I love it. So I think the next big thing for me, I want to do a lot more collaborations with people. There's a lot of really great estheticians here in Charlotte, and I'm happy to be friends with them and be able to really work together and like just if I don't know something, I have no problem asking someone else and knowing that they have either had a different experience than I have. Like, I think that's the best part of it is just making sure that you have the confidence or even you don't have the ego to be like, I need to figure this out myself. So it's really important for that. But yeah, I am trying to start more of a concierge service when it comes to my business. So being able to do at-home visits for certain people and, you know, just kind of working through request forms and figuring out like what's the best idea, what's the safest idea for like so many things on that end. But then even when it comes to my studio, figuring out if I'm still going to be in the same location, if I'm expanding a little bit. But I really think that me honing in on my expertise because and I'm not saying this in like a haughty way whatsoever, but like I'm good at what I do and I'm really happy about that. And I'm happy that I have the education that I get to educate others. And I want to be able to make skincare simple, but also understand that there's so much that goes into it too. It's not just putting something on your face because someone else is putting something on their face. It's about you personally figuring out what works best for you. And even if you are in a different like price range, budget, whatever it is, I love being able to work with everyone on being like, okay, let's start with this and then let's slowly build. And then there are some people who are like, let's change everything all at one time. And I think that's great too. So it depends on the person, but I love working with everyone. Honestly, I think I want to expand more to working with teens and their acne too.
I love that.
I used to do that when I was at the derm practice and I miss it so much. So I would see whole families with everyone. So I would really love more, teens to come back in and like.
Well, you'll have my daughter soon.
Very
She can be your coming back.
Yeah, I would love that. But yeah, I think that's kind of where I think it's been a little bit of an answer, and I'm still trying to figure out some things, but I think it's just about steady growth and making sure that I have people's trust and understanding that like I said, I want to educate. I want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable and understanding too that everyone's skin is different and we can work with that. And that's okay.
Well, I just want to let you know that you're doing it.
Thank you.
And you are amazing at what you do. And I'm so happy you were this year winner. Like, it meant a lot to me to have you this year. And I just want you to tell people where they can find you.
All right. Well, I am uptown. I'm at Salon Lobs at 650B East Brooklyn Village Avenue. If you go to my Instagram, which is at sarmstrong.aesthetics, you can see all of my information there. There's a lot of information on different treatments and pretty much what I do and like different results. And like, yeah, everything is pretty much there.
And you do a lot of videos on your Instagram showing like how to use the products, like what products are the ones you put on your face and how your beautiful skin looks as we can see it right now.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, Serena,
Thank you for having
to
me.
being here with us today. And well, if you would like to follow her, you just heard her information. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Light Up Charlotte, where we keep the spotlight on real stories. If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on Instagram to keep the inspiration going. Until next time, stay lit, Charlotte.